Today I'm talking about a few driftwood shapes that I absolutely love that I think you should keep your eye open for. They're basically one-hit wonders. Welcome to the Small Scape. Today we are talking driftwood, and I realize that there are certain shapes of driftwood that I am always looking for, and I think these can work out really great if you are looking to create an aquascape that's maybe very simple, very quick, kind of stress-free, or these can even work for more elaborate ones if you wanted to add other components and just make it more interesting. But I think that these are just really nice shapes that will fill up an aquarium, and you can build upon them. So what are they? And let me know if this is of interest to you, because there are certain shapes that I'm considering that I would add to my list. But let me know. And then also rocks would be fun too. But anyways, I digress. Shape number one would be what I refer to as the plank. Any kind of shape that is very long, narrow, but frequently it is wider on one side than the other. There can be a lot of varieties, and that is an aquascape that I do like, and it's even one that I can fall back on if I just want to aquascape a tank. Maybe I have a bunch of new plants, I have a group of fish that I really want to put into a tank, or I'm doing an aquascape and I just don't know what I'm going to do. It's a great fallback option for me personally, and I think it's very easy to customize to your liking. This works out really nicely for a standard shaped aquarium, so that would be one that is wider than it is tall. And so your basic standard aquariums, your 5, 10, 20 gallon tanks, and these pieces of driftwood that I have right here are on the small side, so probably good for a 5 gallon, but if you find bigger ones, grab them. So this is one of my favorites that I've been looking at recently, and like I said before, I have scaped in at Aquashella. I did a scape with finding kind of like a little plank shape, and it's just a general shape that I look for, because when you lie it in an aquarium, you can even angle it if you have the substrate up higher in the back. That adds a lot of dimension, really nice look. And then I like to put taller plants in the back, shorter ones up front. Frequently that can be buse, is really fun to kind of lie along some sort of a plank. And then also microsword I love. Crypt parva is also really fun to have along the front, and it gives it a very natural kind of look. Along the back, I think it would be really cool to have maybe some larger crypts. You can even do some corkscrew valve, love that. Anything that gets a little bit taller and you want it to be able to grow up behind there, or you can have you can even cover your plank shaped driftwood with moss. A lot of people like to do that, and I would like to up my moss game at some point here. But then if you want to use this as just your focal point for the aquarium, which I kind of like to do, sometimes I like very, very simple aquascapes. But if you wanted to make it a little bit more complex, you could of course add more little, definitely some interesting rocks throughout, kind of underneath, peeking around. And you could also add some more little twigs, little skinny pieces of driftwood. Some manzanita wood would be really fun. But yeah, lots of options with the plank shaped driftwood. Shape number two, I'm just gonna throw out there because I think it might be more difficult to find this, but when you do, I highly recommend that maybe you grab it. And what is that? It is what I refer to as C-shaped. It's shaped like the letter C, which I think, and this one could probably go multiple different directions depending on what you were feeling, but I always pictured it, let's see here, I always pictured it like that. I thought that would be really cool. And the same as with the plank, you can have plantings maybe that are a little bit taller in the back, and then some shorter ones, even of course like buse or Nubius nana petite up in the front, or some more grassy texture like the microsword would be really fun. Or what else would I do? You could use all of this background. There's a lot of space in something like this that you can attach plants. So if you are a fan of Java fern, You could attach a bunch back here. I really like the narrow leaf lately, and I need to snag myself some. That creates all really fun kind of texture in the back and a lot of volume that gets taken up with that really cool plant. But lots of different options, and it's almost like you get 2 pieces of driftwood for one if you find one that is shaped like the letter C, because you have some interest going out down here and then some more coming up here. So it's like kind of like 2 for 1, and I think it just gives like a nice little flow. It kind of emulates a wave too. That's I think why I originally took this, but a lot of interest, especially with this particular piece, because it's not one-dimensional. It's not just a flat letter C, but you have a lot of interest going out wider at the bottom. And yeah, I just absolutely love this piece. Now with the third one-hit wonder that I think you should always try and get, because I love these, and you can use this shape in multiple different, you could use the same piece in different directions, depending on the shape of tank you have. If you have a standard, or if you have a taller tank, or even a cube. But this is one of my favorites ever since I started in this wonderful hobby. And what is this wonderful shape? Tree trunk. It looks like a tree. So many options. This is some nice spider wood. And that's the great thing about spider wood that I really, really like, is that it has all these little branches coming out, and it really does look like an old tree. Of course, you could add a bunch of anubias up here to make it look like a living tree. You could add moss. That's super fun. But you can also include a number of different pieces just like this and create a forest. You can also use something like this to lie it horizontally, because then it looks like, I just cracked off some, oops. Then it looks like it's just fallen in the woods, which is kind of cool as well. And then you can include it if you have more than one, just an option. This is another one that looks like a hollowed out tree trunk to me. This is a piece of NECA wood that I got from the Flip Aquatics booth at one of the aqua shows maybe a couple years ago, and I just had to have it because it looked like a hollowed out tree trunk. So you could use this falling, kind of like the plank, just on an angle. I thought would look really, really fun, and I think that's how I used it. Or you could, of course, stand it up. Either which way, it looks really awesome. You could have, you know, some moss growing along the side, just like it would in nature, above ground. Too, it could emulate an above ground little vignette, or you could use both of these together if you have multiple pieces that look like tree trunks. One would be standing up, and the other one, how did I have that? Oh yeah, is it like this? No. I wanted to remember this because I wanted to show you. This way? No, maybe that way. It looks kind of like they're hugging. It looks like they're hugging. You get the idea. You can use them together if you find multiple ones that look similar, maybe like they cracked off, parts of them have withered away and died, or you know, one's laying down, one's standing up. So many different options, but the tree trunk piece of driftwood will always have my heart, and I think my natural inclination with any aquascape is to create like a little woodland forest sort of scene. It's just where my happy place is, apparently. But those are 3 options for you, kind of one-hit wonders where you can just have literally one piece of driftwood, some plants, and it creates a really nice focal point. Or you can just use that as your base, your inspiration for your aquarium, because whenever you, I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes I just can't decide how to aquascape. So if I have these little tricks in the back of my head, then you're just like, you just don't know what you're gonna do. So find a single piece of driftwood that really speaks to you, takes up a decent amount of the aquarium, and then just build on it, or slap it in your tank, add some plants, and you're done. So thanks so much for watching. I hope it gave you some inspirations. Let me know down below if you do want this as a series and some more ideas, or if you have your own one-hit wonders that you always look for, share it with the class. See you next time.